Hi, my name is Deneen, and thank you so much for joining me today. I wonder how you're doing. I really do wonder how you're doing. Like you, we've been having some challenges. A few weeks ago, Stanley had to get a loop recorder. We had never heard of that before. He's having some problems with his heart. His atrium and ventricle are not communicating well, and we were told that he would need a pacemaker eventually, but the loop recorder is about this big. It's inserted under the skin and it monitors the heart 24/7, letting the physicians know when the pacemaker is needed. 2 weeks post-op, we went for our checkup and we were fully expecting them to tell us, oh, the incision is healing up well, everything is recording well, we're just going to keep monitoring and we'll see you in a few months for another check. We were shocked and just stopped in our tracks to find out at that appointment that his heart was in complete block. And they told us that in situations like that, they usually take the patient directly to the ER and implant the pacemaker immediately. But because wonderful Stanley was not passing out miraculously, they sent us home so that his own electrophysiological cardiologist could do the procedure himself the following day. And we were so thankful because we have such tremendous faith and trust in our doctor contractor. It was the weekend of his 60th birthday, and we had planned to go away with our friends Craig and Brenda Moore to Arizona to see one of our comedians, Ryan Hamilton. But instead, he was having his pacemaker implanted, and he's doing well. He immediately coming back post-op, his heart rate had been at 30s and 40s, and it was up in the 70s and 80s. He's very swollen, he's very sore, he can't raise his arm high for 8 weeks because they want to make sure the leads are all okay. And I tell you this, I share this with you because maybe you know someone who will be getting a pacemaker or already has one, and shared burdens are halved, aren't they? And it's a little unsettling to know that you're being kept alive by a little machine that's inside your body. But in time, it's our prayer that he'll be feeling back to his normal self. Because he's kind of my everything. There's been no lapse in our videos because Stanley, in the beginning of the year, he just pushed me to make extras. And it turned out to be a good thing because that way there have been no lapse. A couple weeks ago, I did a video about is our math system broken and how students' opinions of math from 4th grade to 8th grade so significantly decline. And today's video is called When Math Hurts. I have a student that I have the tremendous privilege of working with. I've been working with him for a few years now, and he is a tremendous math brain. Now, we know now that we are all math brains, right? But he can do things, conversions, he can see how many numbers are in a number in ways just mentally that I don't know I'll ever have that skill. He's just so mathematically minded, but he doesn't often feel that way. And that's something that I've been working with him over the years is his math confidence, and it has grown tremendously. But now that we are getting into higher levels of math with integers, complex fractions, where you've got integers, a fraction on top of a fraction, doing all kinds of complicated things, it can get harder. And he'll usually get the math right, but he'll sometimes get the sign wrong. And that's so frustrating for him because he knows how to do it. It's just the signs keep changing, right? It was negative, and then it becomes positive, and then it goes back to being negative again. Well, he had a test, and we got the results back, and we had been working on his math homework for that day, and then we pulled out the math test, and I need you to know that he has a loving, compassionate, patient teacher. But not only was his score written on his test in red, but the letter grade. And when he saw it, he immediately just shrunk down, became stiff, and the teardrops started falling drop by drop on his paper that we had just been working on. And I know exactly where he went. Because if you've been with me for any length of time or you've attended any of my workshops, you know that I spent years into adulthood thinking that I was stupid. What's wrong with me? Why is everyone else getting it? Why can't I get it? I flunked out of freshman algebra, was put in remedial math, and then put back in Algebra 1 my sophomore year, the only sophomore full of a bunch of freshmen. And it still was so hard for me. So I know that place. We go there quickly, we go there easily, and it's hard to climb out of that place often. For 10 minutes, he cried. I knew that my words weren't going to help him. I tried to touch him. I tried to make some soothing sounds. But I finally said, let's go outside. And we found a pile of rocks. And we started moving those rocks and talking. And I could see him coming back. And it's going to take some time, but we're going to get back to that place of confidence again. But it doesn't take much, does it, to go to that place of I'm stupid. And I know that God did not create math to make us feel stupid. He created math to give order to the world and beauty, creativity. This summer, wonderful Stanley and I got to do a workshop in Arizona, and it needed a lot of prep. We spent months on it, and when it came down to it, we needed a lot of manipulatives right before. So we are blessed to have our huge Matsuda family close by. And so when we got together in July, we brought all our stuff and everybody helped us. It was a real team effort. And it got family members talking about math. And my niece Jenny, she started sharing her experience in Algebra 2. And we didn't know any of this, that she had gone through this. But Algebra 2 was so traumatic for her. And she cried so often doing her homework that she started keeping a tally sheet of how many times she cried. And she said it was tear-stained because, of course, she was crying. She was crying. And she'd pull out her paper and make another tally mark. She'd get so frustrated that she'd often rumple it up and throw it in the trash. But at some point, she would always pull it back out and just keeping track of those tear-filled experiences. Jenny's now a special ed teacher, helping students. Is our math system broken? I think it is. What would it look like if there were no textbooks in K1-2? What if it was just learning how to manipulate and add and subtract numbers and number sense with manipulatives and games? What would that be like? What would it be like if third grade was just reviewing those concepts throughout the year, but a big focus on fractions? What would it look like if fourth grade kept reviewing those fractions sporadic, or those concepts sporadically, and taking fractions to the next level, and then with a big push on multiplication and division? What would that look like? Our math curriculum is called Big Ideas, and you would think big ideas would be few ideas, right? Fewer, bigger ideas, but what it is two consumable workbooks that are this size, or the size of a phone book, and we're supposed to get through those in 1 year. Is our math system broken? Are some of our students broken? Are you broken? So we keep meeting together week after week, trying to learn together how to improve the math experience of our students, how to improve the math experiences of ourselves, so that we can learn to love math and know that we are not stupid, that we are math people.